Morning. Today I am out and about doing roof surveys, and I thought I'd bring my camera equipment along just to show you what I get up to. What I offer to my customers is a survey of their roof using a drone. I'm insured and qualified to carry out roof surveys using a drone, and I'll go over there and I'll fly the drone over my customer's roof and have a look at all the different aspects of the roof and photograph any issues that I find. After I do that, I put all my findings into a report and send it to the customer with recommendations and quotations on how to fix the problems. And I thought it might be interesting for you guys to see the kind of thing that I'm looking at on a roof and how I go about carrying out the surveys. So stick around and I'll show you. I'll talk you through a couple as well. I'm currently in Kimberley, Nottinghamshire. I'm on my way to Ripley in Derbyshire, and then I've got to go to Sneinton in Nottingham, which unfortunately is right in the wrong direction, but that is just the way things have panned out for me this morning. So stick around and we'll see how the day unfolds.
The first survey of the day brought me to Kimberley in Nottinghamshire, and this was on a large school building that is being converted into a block of flats. The customer is concerned about daylight showing out of the ridge tiles, so he's asked me to conduct a drone survey to both look at the ridge tiles and the general condition of the roof. Now, what we can see when flying along close to these ridge tiles is that there are large gaps between the ridges. They're not very well adhered to the roof. They're a bit all over the place, and they would benefit from being rebedded. You can also see in various places that there are missing tiles that could be replaced. During this survey, I will also look at things like the condition of the valleys, the other ridge runs, and of course the chimney. And one of the things that is noticeable about this chimney is that the flaunching on top of the chimney doesn't quite extend to the edge of the brickwork, which is probably the reason why there's so much erosion to the mortar between the bricks of the joints on the chimney, particularly towards the top of the chimney. The rest of the pointing doesn't look very good either. Now, if this chimney is not in use, it's a very large chimney, and it would probably be easier and better in the long term just to remove that and tile over the hole that's left behind. But we'll have a discussion with the owner of the property to see if that chimney is going to be still in use and how he would like me to proceed with the quotation and recommendations.
Yeah. Right. And someone's come in, did a load of lead work, and this is still getting worse.
Yeah.
I mean, from the staining there, it looks like a flashings issue. 2 surveys down, 1 to go. And that was a little bit of an odd one. This is, the property I was at there is an old converted storehouse. Has been converted into 3 cottages, and it is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning property with oak floorboards and big slab floors. Just beautiful, beautiful. And they've recently had, before they moved in, a load of work carried out on the roof, including work to the chimney. The problem appears to be an issue with the flashings. I mean, that's what you would think, looking at the issue on the inside, big stains coming down the chimney breast. But when you survey it on the outside, everything appears on the surface to be okay. Now, I've only just flown the drone over it and I can only see what I've seen in my screen, but it's going to make it a lot easier to look at when I put it on my laptop later. I'll be able to see a much bigger picture and get a clearer view. But on the surface, the flashing appears to be okay. I can't see the condition of the soakers underneath the step led flashings. The pointing appears to be okay, although there are a few missing sections of pointing, which makes you think, has the pointing just been overstruck, which could hide a multitude of sins, and water could be getting through the pointing behind the flashings that way. There are a few cracks on the flaunching, but that wouldn't manifest in a stain on the chimney breast like the one we've seen inside here. Or, well, not generally. It's not out of the question, but I wouldn't expect that. The cowls need sealing, but again, I wouldn't expect that to have caused the problem that we see on the inside. So it's a difficult one to diagnose, but I shall be able to see it better later when I put that on my laptop. Next, I've got to go 42 minutes in the opposite direction all the way to Sneinton in Nottingham. As a general rule, I would have done this one first, then gone to Kimberley, then have gone to Ripley, but the customer has only just paid the bill for the survey and confirmed that they wanted it doing, so it's messed up my flow a little bit. But I want to get it done today, because if I don't get this survey done today, it might be this time next week before it gets done, and it'd just be nice to get it done. So I'll catch you in a bit in Sneinton.
After a 40-minute drive across Nottinghamshire, I arrive in Sneinton, send up the drone to have a look at this property. Now, the first thing I generally do when carrying out a survey like this is get an overall shot of the roof, and this helps when writing the report. If I get a photo of an overview of the roof, it gives me a orientation and a reference point for the report. From there, I fly the drone over to the chimney, and the first obvious thing is all the vegetation that's growing out of it. We can also notice some slipped slates at the front of this property, but let's take a closer look at this chimney. There's a lot of vegetation around the gully between the chimney and the roof, particularly on the back gutter of the chimney. There's a lot of rubbish. It appears as though somebody's been there in the past, left broken tiles and a bottle of water. That's poor workmanship, really. And there's a few slipped slates in the valleys. Looking at the chimney, we can see an old TV satellite dish, lots of vegetation, and I would strongly think that someone has just placed some mortar over the top of the existing flaunching when repairing this chimney. Not a very good job. The pointing doesn't look to be in the best condition either. So this is something that's certainly worth flagging up during the report. Fast forward to take a look at the flashing on the side of the dormer extension, and we can see some buddleia growing out of the flashings, which is always a bad sign. We can see some mortar benching between the roof and the cladding slate tiles of the dormer extension. That indicates some kind of issue, probably with the soakers. The new fascia boards on this property are an indication that someone has done a bit of work up here in the past quite recently, and it's interesting that there are no gutters on this dormer extension. That is something you would expect to see on this type of roof. Take a look at this. We've got a vent tile next to the dormer extension, and it is full of vegetation and moss. You wouldn't expect to see that. There's something sinister going on there as well. The next thing to look at is the step-led flashing on the neighbour's wall that joins the property. We can see that the seal between the leadwork and the brickwork is missing. Potentially water can get in behind the step-led flashing via the missing joint and run straight down that wall into the property. We'll just fly the drone over the back side of the roof just to see if all the slates are where they should be and if there's anything going on at the back here that we need to take note of. This rear chimney is in a sorry state. It appears as though somebody has just put some mortar over the top of the existing flaunching, and we can see a big hole at the top of the chimney, probably where the guy who was putting that mortar on just couldn't reach to finish the job off properly. It's also worth noting that the step-led flashing leading into the neighbour's wall on the rear of the property is in a similar condition to the flashing at the front of the property.
Okay, it looks to me as though in the not too distant past someone had already been on that roof and done a load of repairs and done a really bad job of it. I don't like to criticise other people's works, but this doesn't look very good. Things like the flaunching, looks like someone's gone over the top of that with like mortar and just bits and bobs. It's not very good. Anyway, I am now going to Mansfield. So this is really, this is what happens when people don't sort of pay immediately. So the way this service works is I generally expect to be paid up front before I come and do the surveys, and the reason for that is I have in the past been messed around by people where I would get to a place and they'd say, oh, we don't need you now, you know, we've had it done, or this, that and the other, or somebody else came and gave a quote. And I would do all this running around, and people would say that they don't need me anymore, and a lot of people wouldn't have the decency to let me know before I came that I was needed. So that's why I now charge for my surveys. What you find generally is when you charge someone up front before you do the survey, if they no longer need you, they let you know so they can get their money back. So I generally tell people that you know, happy to come and have a look at the roof, this is the service I offer, this is how much it costs, and they'll say, yep, okay, we'd love to go ahead, please send me the invoicing details, and then they take a while to pay. So this morning I decided, right, let's go and do all the surveys. I looked at my surveys. Oh, this person said that they wanted it doing, that person said they wanted it doing, but they hadn't paid. So we flung out a message saying, look, we're doing the surveys today, otherwise it might be this time next week before we can get back to you. And well, they're paying in dribs and drabs during the day, but the consequence of that is I went to Kimberley first when I should have come to Sneinton first. Then I went to Ripley. So from Ripley I've gone all the way back to Sneinton, and now I have to go to Mansfield. So I'm crisscrossing Nottinghamshire and Derby in a completely convoluted route, and it could have been a lot more efficient. That's all I'm saying. So if you ask me for a survey and I send you an invoice for that survey, do us a favour and settle it quickly, and that way I'll save some fuel and some time and some sanity. Happy days. Anyway, to Mansfield. This is my last survey, and then I shall go back to base and start writing up my reports. Okay, so that's another one done in Mansfield, and another interesting little property there. I've been to some interesting ones today. I don't think that particular property has got a penetrating damp problem by the looks of it. It's a new roof. The lead work looked really good. Everything looked really good, but it's a property from the 1800s. And looking at the issue on the inside, big staining, lots of hygroscopic salts, and I think that it's possibly a relic from, or a throwback from, a previous penetrating damp problem has caused all the hygroscopic salts to come through, and now every time it rains and you've got a damp atmosphere, those salts are drawing moisture onto the plasterwork and causing the problem you can see inside. So although I have to check my footage, and I'll put that on the laptop later, but I think what I'm going to do there is just quote to make sure that that lead is sealed into the stonework properly, and then treat the stonework with some kind of sealant to make it more water resistant. And then the customer is already saying to me that he is thinking about having the plaster taken back to brick, taken off, treat that brickwork and build it back up again to deal with those hygroscopic salts issues. So that's it. That's all of my surveys for today. I'm heading back to base, and I am going to start writing up what I've surveyed, put them all in my reports and send them to the customer. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been useful to you. If you have, please give me the thumbs up. If you've got anything to say, leave it in the comments, and subscribe for more roof stroke chimney stroke cherry picker action. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next job.